Hello, my name is Pam Carswell, and I'm your teen librarian here at Mina Public Library. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a two-color magnet that can be 3D printed here at the library. So let's get started. To begin with, I'm here at Tinkercad.com, where you can make your own free account so that you can get doing computer-assisted design. All right, so I've got a blank build plate here. One of the first things I'm going to do is change my snap grid down to 0.5 millimeter. It does make it a little easier to move things on the board. First thing I need is a box. So I need this box to come down here and be about 8 millimeters thick. And I need it to come out here and be 60 millimeters wide and 70 wide and 60 tall. All right, so there we have that. The other thing I would like to do is turn that to a yellow color. That way it's going to be a little easier for a couple of my next steps. So to fill you in on our magnet situation, I have some really strong ceramic magnets that will hold our projects really well, but they are about 20 millimeters around, and they're a round shape. So what we need is a cylinder. Now we need to make a divot in our block here so that our magnet has a place to snap into or glue into. So let's get started on that. So if our magnet is about 20 millimeters across, the hole for it needs to be about 22 millimeters. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the magnet into the hole. All right, so our box here is 8 millimeters, and I'm going to use this cone here to pull our cylinder up but to 3 millimeters. Okay, so I don't want this to go all the way through, obviously, but I do want to make a pretty nice sized divot in the back. Okay, I'm going to draw a box around both of these shapes, and then I'm going to use the Align tool to make sure that it's centered. Okay, so I have that done, and now I'm going to draw another box. See this here? That's the group. You can also hold down the Control and the G key, and those will group your projects. Okay, so there is our divot box. Excellent. So now our magnet need some designs. I'm going to flip it around to 180 degrees. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm going to go over here to our shape library and click on that. And in the shape library, there are several different categories. We're going to click on Design Starters. In the Design Starters, there's several different kinds of charms that you can use. I think that I am going to use a charm that is over here on page 2, but feel free to use any of the other ones that you like. I want the planet charm. Okay, so we've agreed that this box is 8 millimeters high, and this planet is 2.5 millimeters high. So I need to raise this up to 7.5 millimeters. Okay, that's going to make sure my planet is nicely centered in the middle. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and now I'd like a bit of text. So I'm going to go back over here to Basic Shapes, and I'm going to get the text. Now, I would like it to say, out of this world. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Now, obviously out of this is way too big, right? So I'm going to make that a little smaller. It's also too tall. So I'm going to shrink this down to about 3.5 millimeters high. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now I'm going to use that cone again, and I'm going to raise it up to 7.5 centimeters, or 7.5 millimeters. Okay, we're going to come back up here to the top view so we're sure that we have a really good center. If you try to center things in the home view, you can get a distortion, so it's best to make sure that you go up here to the top and make sure that you're looking at things squarely. All right, so I'm actually going to duplicate the out of this world bit. Oops, undo. Oops. All right, I'm going to move that box out of here. I'm going to move this word over here. I don't want two phrases of out of this going on my project, though. I'm going to change one of those to world. Excellent. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to just make sure that that's what this looks like. Yep, that looks about right. I might move this out and move the word world. Oops, undo. I'd like to move the word world down just a tiny little bit. There we go. All right. So now we're going to come look at it from here. We're going to make sure that this is all kind of floating because we don't want to mess up that divot we put in the back of the magnet, do we? All right, it is floating, so that's good. Okay, so now we're going to draw that box around all of our red shapes here. We're going to group those together. Perfect. Now we're going to bring this yellow box down here. We're going to come up here to the top view. We're going to draw those boxes around those again, and we're going to use the align tool. We're going to make sure that our red shapes are perfectly centered on our yellow box. When we know that those are there, we'll be ready to save our work by getting rid of the name that Tinkercad came up with for this blank build plate and putting in our own name. I think this is probably going to be called Two Color Planet Magnet. All right, so there we have it. Now, I'm going to click onto, I'm going to click onto the yellow, I'm going to click onto the yellow box here, and I'm going to export that shape. I don't want everything in the design, I just want the selected shape, and I want it in an STL. So, save it to your computer. Then I'm going to click on the red shapes. Now, because the Planet Charm has a few different things in it, it's going to have this multicolor thing. That's okay, we know what it is. It's this group of things. So then we're going to export those shapes also as just the selected shape as an STL file. And we'll save it. Okay, so once those are saved in the computer, this is where the magic happens when we are ready for 3D printing. we come over here to Cura and we open some files. So the first thing we do is we open the first one, and there's our block, right? Now that one we're going to have print with extruder 1. Then we go over here to our second download and we open that. Now when we click on that file, we want that one to be done by extruder 2. See how that's a different color than here? That's important. All right, so now we select all of our models and we merge our models. Look at that. So now I go up here to the move. I can move them on the build plate and they're together. Tinkercad treats them as, Cura treats them as one shape together. And if I were so inclined, I could change their proportions. I could scale them up or down. I could mirror them. Now, of course, with writing, you don't want to mirror that. So we're not going to do any of those fancier things. We're just going to leave it there, and we'll slice it, and we'll find out how long it's going to take. Oh, look, it's going to take 1 hour and 14 minutes to print this. Now, ordinarily, something that's only 17 grams would not take this long to print. I would expect that usually, if I was just printing in one color, I could knock out something like this in about 45 minutes. But it's going to take longer because we're going with a 2-color print here, and the extruders have to switch back and forth to get in all of our desired colors, and that takes some time. So that's how that works. And if you should want to design your own 2-color magnet, I would be absolutely thrilled to print it for you and include the magnet for no charge. So you'll have to send me your file to my email address, and you'll see that here at the end of the video. Thanks so much, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.